Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Stand Up Speakeasy. My name is Srethne, and it's always awkward to see the clock start in the corner of the thing, so that's why I'm looking away and I look out of I look lost. But speaking of being lost, I was hoping to get lost in the Central Time Zone, and go on tour and interview comics, and but the pandemic hit and I couldn't do it, so I'm at home and I'm interviewing comics and so today, on my show, I'm bringing on Jonathan Dunne. Jonathan, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Hello, hey, I'm good.
Aw, fantastic, great stuff. And I was like looking through your bio and stuff like that, and I can't wait to dive into your comedy career. So it's gonna be pretty rad.
Awesome, yeah.
Awesome. So Jonathan, you're based out of Chicago, and you're originally from Sydney, Australia. What brought you all the way out from Sydney to Chicago?
It was comedy. I wanted to. I had I've been doing comedy in Sydney for about a year, and I could get a visa to come to the States. So at that time, so I took it, and um, I always liked American comedy, and I like listened to a lot of podcasts, and a lot of them suggest that Chicago would be a good place for me to move to at that point.
Indeed. What's it like performing stand up in Australia? That's pretty awesome.
It was good. I thought it was a great place to like really start like my first year because there weren't many mics, but they were very good, and you can build. It was good for building up confidence. I thought um, they would like get pretty good crowds, whereas here, like in Chicago in the States, I think there are more mics and more of them have almost no people just besides the comics, which can be it can be very tough to do well in those environments. But yeah.
Most definitely, that's what it feels like in Daytona at the moment. It's like just comics in the back, and that's about it because of the
Yeah,
pandemic. But
yeah.
I love going last and like where there's no one left in the room, and it's just like, oh, if I can make my friends laugh, I'm golden because
Yeah, yeah,
they're the only ones left. So
yeah. I disagree with you. I think that's what I hate that so much. I hate being lost, but yeah, but it can be fun when it's just your friends.
indeed, most definitely. And so you and you when where you're at now in Chicago, you ran the Button Up comedy show.
Yeah.
What were some of your favorite memories from the Button Up?
Um, we like had it for a while, and it was really tough to get audience in there, but we could usually have a good hang out. We could always hang out afterwards, and I with each other and the comics that we booked. So I really like that was probably my favorite part of it. I like the whole mechanics of running a show. Like we did lights and music and stuff. Um, even though a lot of times we had very little crowd, but I found that very fun and I really enjoyed it.
Indeed, most definitely. And I love running shows and stuff like that too. It's a lot of fun when like you said, putting the music and the lights and all that stuff, and just putting them all into like put them all into full gear and seeing them come into pieces like a puzzle. It's
Yeah,
pretty neat.
yeah.
And so you've performed shows all around Chicago and the Midwest. And what are some of your favorite venues and stuff throughout this Chicago and the Midwest?
I really liked one recently that I did 2020 before the pandemic was this show um, in the Quad Cities in Iowa, Davenport, and it's in this old mansion, like this haunted mansion, and it's just like it's on a Sunday. It's every Sunday, and like I drove out, and that was a really fun show. Like good crowd. The host was really nice, and it was good to meet some of the Iowa comics there, and some of the Chicago ones they brought down too.
Awesome, good stuff. We have a haunted mansion here in Florida. It's in Disney World, so it's that's as close as we're getting.
Yeah,
So
haunted with too much money.
absolutely, indeed. I've never been to like any of those theme parks, and I've been here like for 4 or 5 years. I'm like, I'm not gonna throw
Yeah,
my money away like that. So,
yeah.
but
I heard it's really expensive. Like they put a band on you, and then you like just use it to buy everything, and then you get the bill at the end, and it's crazy. And then it's so much money. Like you had no idea you were spending that much the whole time.
indeed, I can't let them control like that. That's pretty scary. I'm like, that's like having like the the black card that they have, like the American Express black card, and then you're like, yo, we're supposed to pay this off at the end of the month, and then we can't, and like, oh, we got bankrupt,
Yeah,
so it's like, oh,
there's
no,
no
thank you.
yeah
So,
no limit.
indeed, like Master P. Um, and so, Jonathan, when I was going plan on going on tour, I usually ask these questions. To all the comics I've interviewed so far, and there's like 500 interviews on my channel alone, and maybe 600 now, who knows? But Jonathan, what inspired you to perform stand-up comedy?
Um, I think I was at university. I was just kind of I always liked comedy, and I was at university and kind of just like bored with everything. So I um, signed up for an improv class, and I really liked comedy, and then I decided to try stand up because there was only so much. Because I just was like it kind of blew my mind, the feeling of being funny in front of other people. Um, so I heard about this open mic that was in town, and I just went and loved it ever since.
Awesome. And what was it feeling like when you first performed stand-up?
It was great. I did really well my first time. I think I had a really hot crowd, and they kind of like told everyone that was my first time. So I think they're very generous to me. But I did really well, and I felt incredible. But probably the next 10, 20 times, I bombed terribly. So I've kind of been chasing that ever since.
Indeed, those bombing stories are the best. Though after everything's all said and done, and then you can reflect a couple, like, days or months later, and just tell them those awesome stories. I
Yeah.
bombed on my birthday a couple times, and
Oh,
boy,
really?
yeah, it's bad.
I think
I think
do you have any like really bad bombs that you've shared before you want to share or that you haven't
yeah,
shared?
sure. Like 2 birthdays ago in Daytona Beach, I had this plan where like everyone would on stage would have to tell a joke from my material. It was kind of like being like John Malkovich.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so I dressed up as my superhero alter ego, and I totally forgot the rules. And everyone was mocking me the way that I talk, the way that I walk, and everything. And so the whole night I got roasted the whole night, and then I go up there as my superhero alter ego, and forgot everything, and I just sang "Happy Birthday" to myself. It was so bad, but but it was fun to look back at it and just be like,
Yeah,
man, that set was awful. But I still got
that's
paid for it, so that was good.
that's funny. That's funny.
And
Sounds
we
like
all
people liked you.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun down in Daytona Beach for sure, and
Yeah,
we all had like Hostess ding dongs because they have a joke about Hostess ding dongs, and I bought cake too, but nobody bothered to eat the cake, so we just had ding dongs for my birthday. So it was a lot
yeah,
of fun,
yeah.
indeed. And what are your favorite comedy specials and comedy record albums?
Um, my favorite comic is Dave Attell. I think he's incredible. Um, and Skanks for the Memories, like I still think is just like incredible. Like there's so many jokes, and it's like he's speaking jokes. It's like it's not English. It's just like its own language. And he's really great. Um, recently, I've loved Nick Nemiroff's album. I forgot what it's called. I think it's called "The Pursuit of Stand-Up Comedy Has Ruined My Life." That's a really good one. Uh, Cameron Gillette is a Chicago guy who just released an album a few months ago, and I went to the recording of that, and it was incredible. So I'd highly recommend those.
Indeed, I'll definitely have to check those out for sure. And
Mm,
some of those guys have been on TV and film, and I remember Insomnia. I believe that's what David Tell's show
yeah,
was on Comedy Central. And what are your favorite sitcom sketch shows and comedy films are?
sketch shows. I really like sketch shows. Recently, I think you should leave on Netflix was great. I loved Key and Peele. As a kid, I watched a lot of SNL. Sitcoms, Arrested Development, I think is probably the best sitcom ever made, and Detroiters is also has like recently has been really great. It's by Tim Robinson, the guy who did I Think You Should Leave. Um, really like that. Comedy movies, I really like Edgar Wright. He did he did when the with the Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. I think I'm probably my two favorite comedy movies, and Airplane. I love
Eh,
Airplane.
Awesome stuff. And if you can go on tour with any comedian locally and internationally known, which comedians would you like to go on tour with?
I'd love to go on tour with Dave Attell. I think I just like I love to watch him work, and I think he's always like doing he's always like writing new stuff. So I think it would be awesome to see how he works. And I've seen him live twice, and recently he's been doing this thing where he brings the opener and the feature on stage after the show and just kind of riffs with them and roasts them and does all that, and it looks like so much fun. Um, and who else in Chicago? I really like Joe McMahon. I think he would be great to go into it with. He's a similar guy where it's like his jokes are so clever and so just like some people I watch jokes, I'm like I don't even know how they could conceive all these bits. Like I like really want to, like it just blows me away. Um, Other than that, maybe yeah, Sarah Squam I really like. I think she's really funny and she has her own thing and that gets crowds. And I think what she's doing is really fun. And Roy Scovel, I think Roy Scovel would be great to work with because he's also a riff machine and it seems like he draws crowds that just like love comedy. And I think that'd be the best play. They'd have the best crowds to perform in front of.
Indeed, Rory Scovel was pretty awesome. Like, I saw his Netflix special, where he performed in Atlanta at the Relapse Theater.
Yeah, yeah.
And on my when I went on tour, that was one of my stops, and I got to
Oh,
perform at the Relapse Theater,
very cool.
and it was magical. They were making grilled cheese in the corner because the show is called Sweet Baby Cheeses.
Yeah,
It was awesome, and there was so many people in that room that like the laughs took forever to pass by for me to jump into my next joke. And I've never felt that before. It was nuts.
yeah,
It was wild.
yeah.
Indeed.
He came here and he did these 4 shows where it was all just like he was just riffing the whole time. It was all improvised. And I asked like other people who did it, and like they all confirmed like there was no like bits that he put in his pocket for later or anything. And the one I went to was incredible. He was so funny.
Indeed, most definitely. And then let's see here. If you can get roasted by 5 comedians, past and present, which comedians would you like to get roasted by?
David Tell again. Um, Joe McMahon from Chicago, I think would be good. Uh, who else? Maybe like I think Sarah Silverman would be good. Um, James Acaster in Britain, I really like. Who else? Mm, I guess Sam Morrell. I think he'd be good at it too.
Awesome. And where do you see your comedy career in the next 5 years?
I don't know. I hope we'll see how stand up goes and what comedy looks like in 5 years after this. Hopefully, if this ends. But I hope I can just do it. I'm still doing it, and I hope I'm progressing. I think right now I don't. I'd love to be making money from it. To sort of, if it could be the way I pay my bills, that'd be great. But I think as long as I feel like I'm progressing and getting funnier, I'll be happy.
Absolutely. I hope comedy pays the bill sometime because I've been doing it for like 7 years, but 5 years consistently. But I'm sure the money will come. But for now, I'm just having the time of my life. So,
Yeah, yeah.
and, indeed. And which other forms of comedy would you like to venture off into? You mentioned you did improv and like would you like to do sketch, directing, acting, etc., writing?
Um, yeah, I'd like to do. I liked improv, and I sometimes will do classes if I have the time. And they've always been really fun. I feel like you always at least make a few friends doing it, so it's always been worthwhile for me. Um, yeah, I'd like to do more writing, probably be more disciplined with it. It's always very hard. Acting, if there are any opportunities that somehow come my way, that'd be great. But as long as I can just like do comedy and be funny, I think that's all. That's all I really want.
Absolutely, most definitely. And let's see here. What is your favorite Joker comics ever written?
Hair joke comics I've written. Um, I really like. some of David Tell ones. He has one where he's like I if I wasn't a comedian, I'd love to be a pharmacist, because a pharmacist is like a doctor, but you're also a cashier. And he has one where he's like have you seen this tape? Have you seen this? This is from Skanks of the Memories. It came out in 2002. He's like, oh, have you seen this tape, Girls Gone Wild? These girls are going wild. It's crazy. I like to watch the tape in reverse, so it looks like the girls have learned their lesson.
Oh man, I remember those infomercials, and I'm like, I'm glad I never bought a tape
Yeah,
with
yeah.
those folks and all that stuff. It just, I know it's just too wild for me. That's for sure. Indeed. And what experience would you like your audience to take with them after the set is over?
um, I hope they just think I'm funny and original. That's all I want. Just them to be like, oh, that guy's great. This is really unique and good, not in a bad way.
Indeed, most definitely. And let's see here for the next segment of the show. You were nominated to be my guest on the show, and I want to know which comedians would you like to see next on the Stand Up Speakeasy?
I'd like to see my friends Adam McShane and Alex Bear. If you need help any spelling those names, just let me know. I'll help you out.
Absolutely, I definitely need help because sometimes I reach out to the wrong people, and I'm like, "Oops, I'm not a stand-up comic." I feel so bad.
Yeah,
Indeed, and sometimes like they have mutual friends too, on Facebook.
yeah,
It
yeah.
throws me off, and I'm like, "Ah, well, whoops, my bad." So,
Yeah. I'll let you know. I'll confirm with you before you send any messages out.
awesome, fantastic, Jonathan, and let's see here. Thank you so much for being my guest on the show. And follow Jonathan on Instagram and Twitter, and book him through his website, which is scrolling below, and also subscribe to his channel on YouTube and all that good stuff. And Jonathan, are there any final words you'd like to give out to the audience this evening?
No, it's a no, but thank you for having me. And it's such a crazy time. I don't know what to say. Yeah. Very
Indeed.
grateful to be on.
Awesome. I'm grateful that you're on the show too, and that's why I'm like, since we can't go out, or most of the states can't go out and do stand up, I thought, well, why don't I just interview comics instead? It's going to be a lot
Yeah.
more fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So thank you so much, Jonathan, and you rock. And I'll be in Chicago in October, so hopefully I get to
Oh,
meet you in person and all that
yeah,
good
yeah, that'd
stuff.
be great. Yeah, hit
And
me up when you come.
absolutely, we'll do, and I'll definitely see you there. And I was there like 2 years ago, and I got to perform at the Red Line Tap when it was open, and at the Annoyance Theater, and had the time of my life in
Yeah,
Chicago, and
yeah,
I can't wait to go back for sure.
definitely. Can't wait to see you.
Indeed, awesome, Jonathan. Thank you so much for joining me to this evening, and for the next episode, we'll see you next time. Be
Yeah.
safe, everyone.